Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. This is episode 87, and this is a real special episode because when I post this on September the 4th, it's the day before Stacey's birthday. So this is Stacey's birthday episode. But yeah, before we begin, I'd love to introduce my co-host, the beautiful, the stunning, the healer extraordinaire, and published author, also a birthday girl tomorrow, Stacey Brown. Stace, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. Thanks for the introduction. It still makes me laugh every time you do it. But
You
friends, my
should be
name is
used to it.
my name is Stacey, and I am intuitive. I do readings for people from around the world. I'm an Akashic record reader. I am a podcast host and creator. I am a spiritual mentor and coach, and I'm a recently published author. My book, Journey to Soul Center Discovering the Gift of Surrender, is available on Audible and on Amazon.
Thank you, birthday girl. I think maybe I shall call you that the whole episode, birthday girl. But anyway, hi everybody. I'm Nimesh. I'm also an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, as well as spiritual coach and mentor. And I love this. I love this podcast, and I always want to start with saying thank you. Feel really blessed by this space. When I started this a few years ago, I had no idea how big this podcast was going to get. I just wanted to share. I got a message that my voice is my gift. I need to use it. So I just wanted to share, and it's been such a beautiful journey, and I've loved it, and I continue to love it. So I just want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to my co-host who's supported so many episodes, and just talk a little bit about the energy right now. It does feel like, August was a super heavy month with so much going on. I do feel like we're getting into a lighter phase. That doesn't necessarily mean that we won't continue to be challenged or push or, kind of get message, shine a light. Maybe it'll just be with a little bit more ease and grace. Stace, I love the work that we do. I think about it many times during the day, how blessed just to guide people to truly shine their light. And I actually want to start the episode just by talking about, in honor of Stacey's birthday, some promotions we thought we'd do. We love the mentorship program that we've channeled, and it was channeled actually in the very kitchen that I'm recording this podcast from. And it was channeled through the Akashic Records in January of last year, and we've used it for so many people to kind of guide them through. It's over 12 weeks. We work on all four of your bodies: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and we go deep on who you are. I'll help you to understand your programming, to really kind of help you to understand your purpose, your gifts, and why you're here. It's been changing lives, and I love it. I love it. I love guiding people in that sort of way. It gives me lifts my soul up just to see the impact we're having. And in honor of the promotions we have this month and Stacey's birthday month, what we thought we'd do is, normally the program is a 3-month program and you go deep over 3 months. But we thought what a good thing to do is, because we always encourage people to kind of continue working and maybe do a full month. So what we're going to do is have a promotion for the first 3 people that book the mentorship in September. We're going to give you 4 months for the price of 3. So what we're going to do is take the normal 12-week program and add an additional month to it to kind of continue on the journey. At the 4th month, we will personalize to where you are in terms of your gifts and kind of what you want to implement. But it's something we thought this would be really good to do. The 12-week program, we have a framework and we personalize it to where you're at. And the 4th month is really making sure you have a clear plan of action to implement whatever's coming next. So to repeat, for the first 3 people that book the mentorship program in September, we will give you 4 months for the price of 3. And what you can do is book a free discovery call from any of our websites, and we'll take you through the program. It's free. We'll take you through the mentorship program. We'll give you the different options. And then as long as you sign up, give you 4 months for the price of 3. Stacey, what do you think about mentorship program and the promotion that we've got going?
I'm excited because I know what this program has done for so many. and I've seen people's lives completely shift when they take action. And I often tell people about, my analogy that when you walk into the gym, you can do a workout on your own and you might see some progress with consistency. But when you're really ready to change your life, you hire a personal trainer and you have them walk you through the steps of how to get your goals accomplished. And so I look at us as personal trainers for the soul. And when you come alongside of us and allow us to walk this journey with you, it can really change every aspect of your life. And we've seen it happen. So I'm excited. And I love that fourth month and the fact that we customize so much for the individual. So I'm looking forward to what this new season brings.
I love it. And it's very appropriate for this month's topic. So this month's topic is shift and shine, the power of transformation. And as we jump into this topic, the reason we picked this topic, and we pick topics out months in advance, but I really do feel that we're going into that continued push where we're all being pushed to transform. We really are being pushed to shine our light and to really kind of decide how we're going to serve. A lot of people are changing careers. A lot of people are truly transforming. And Stace, as we jump into this topic, I'd love to kind of hear from you in terms of when I say to you, shift and shine, the power of transformation. What does that mean to you?
So for me, I feel like so many of us um, kind of shrink and play small, right? We like get into a role or a rut or whatever you want to say, and we just do things the same way. And I think the shift is saying what I am doing is no longer working for me, and I want to try something more. I want to try doing something different. And the shine happens when we step out of our comfort zone and take action and do those things. And I believe that there's great power in what we do day to day. We were just talking about this before the episode, and um, and talking about like the action steps that we take and how we're showing up. And um, this has been a season for me of shifting big time, right? Um, and shining at the same time, right? Like I'm making the shifts and taking action and at the same time shining my light, and sometimes in a very insecure way because it's all new. But I feel like there's great power in recognizing that the only thing that we have control of is ourselves.
Love that. How powerful is that? To repeat, the only thing we have control over is ourselves. And it's really interesting when you talk about transformation. We were talking, just catching up before this episode, and we were actually interested enough talking about transformation. And it's how, when you're going through a lot of change, it can be a lonely place because you're on a unique journey, and it's nobody truly understands what you're going through individually. People around you can connect and can maybe have a conversation and try to really relate, try to empathize, but you're a soul having your own unique human experience. And I would always recommend working with a mentor or coach, because what a good mentor and a coach does is guides you and holds your space, guides you to your answers, guides you to what's happening in you, helps you through the process. But a transformation, spiritual, I guess you might call it a rebirth or a reset. I really do feel a lot of us are going through that. And what does that look like? I mean, it looks like the things that you used to enjoy, you don't enjoy anymore. The people that used to be in your life, you don't relate to as much anymore. Maybe your friend circle got smaller. Maybe you've been pushed to let go of things that don't serve you. And for me, transformation is a large part of it is a leap of faith. Is not knowing. How many of us are in a phase right now where we don't know what's coming next? And that feeling is uncomfortable. Change and embracing change is one of the most difficult things that we do as humans. And some people embrace change more than others, but it kind of goes against the human DNA in terms of we have so much programming, so many rules that, this is how we should, you should grow up, you should graduate, you should get a job, and kind of get married, have kids, whatever, right? And I really feel that paradigm is shifting, where everybody's in a unique individual journey. But change is still uncomfortable because this version of you, who you are today, has got you to where you are today. But when you're transforming, this version of you in many ways is dying, and a new version of you is being born. But how often do we hold on to that old version? And it's, if I look at the elements of transformation and shift and shine, I think you described it really well. Transformation involves shifting in a way that you kind of have an idea of how you want to shift, but you don't be so rigid with your expectations, because what if God, the universe, your guides, has a much bigger plan than you could ever dreamed of? So the shifting is being open to shifting, being not holding on to what you're doing, and the shining is shining your light. We all have such a beautiful light, and I really do feel that we're being forced and encouraged to shine our light. So I love the title. And if we kind of go through the different elements you need to consider when you're talking about transformation, I've talked about change and embracing the change. I guess another element is resilience. I already talked about it. It's like, Stacey, I had no idea when we agreed to start working together that, going on a roller coaster and a crazy amount of change over a short period of time was part of it. But that's what happens. It does feel like a roller coaster. And being resilient and staying the course and trusting in whatever's coming next is a big part of it. And stepping out of your comfort zone, doing things that you don't like to do, but doing them anyway. We had a whole episode on overcoming fear, and that really it's important that the things that make you uncomfortable, but are going to add value to you, do. And that's another message to the universe that you're ready that you're ready to transform. And we always, in every single episode, talk about a strong self-care routine. And for me, being grateful and having a strong self-care routine is kind of foundational in anything you do. Being grateful and being specific and being intentionally grateful, picking moments and being grateful, and then asking the universe for more of those moments. In short, looking after yourself, doing things that lift your soul is really a big part of. And that's, I actually, I remember we were talking about Clubhouse recently, where you've got to meet the universe halfway. What do I mean by that? I mean, doing the right things for you to lift your soul, so you're in a place to accept the changes that are coming, and being open to magic. Without having that self-care routine, it's easy to kind of get stuck in the, why does this always happen to me? There's kind of the mindset that isn't productive. But when you have a strong self-care routine, it helps you to manage it. Doesn't mean you don't go into a dark place, because sometimes you need to, but it helps you to manage it much more. And really doing the things that spark you, really asking that question, what do I enjoy doing that lifts my soul? And doing more of that. Try as much as possible to have a strong support system around you. This is where maybe a mentorship comes in, friends. But again, think about the people that you need to have around you that are supportive. And think about those friends that maybe aren't supportive, and maybe you don't want to spend as much time with them anymore because they're not, So what I mean by supportive is those people that hold your space, but also challenge you. And I've just I guess I wasn't planning to go this deep this early on, but I do feel this is the time to transform. I feel the energy that we're going into, it really is transformational. And change is inevitable. Change is the only constant. It's the only thing that we know is going to happen. Nothing stays the same. How often do we kind of think back to different times? Oh, I wish it was like that. Wish it was like that. We do sometimes look at the past with rose-tinted glasses, but we haven't got a time machine. Well, at least I haven't. So you can't go back to those times. The only times you can move into is what's coming. And I guess my question for the audience is, are you ready to embrace that change? Are you ready to continue to transform, to truly shine the light? Do you know what your gifts are, and do you know what you're here to do on this planet, at least this phase? Because it's interesting when people ask, kind of finding your purpose, and people get stressed out about, oh my God, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? I always think to that, what if we have multiple purposes? And what if our purpose continues to evolve? I'll always say my purpose is anyone I connect with, leave them better than I found them. That allows me to do anything, allows me to do mentorship, public speaking, Akashic records, doing whatever. As long as I leave one person every day better than I found them, then I'm happy. And I always recommend keeping your purpose simple. So, Stacey, I went off a whole tangent there. Let me ask you the question. Actually, so you transformed more than anybody I know in the space of 2 years. I mean, maybe, but I guess, how do you feel about transformation? And are you ready to continue to transform?
I would say that transformation or shifting your life is one of the hardest things that we can do, because when we say we're open to it, that means we're open to whatever that holds, right? And it's obviously going to be something different than what we know, right? So I was married, I was doing hair in my basement salon, in my little bubble in the world, in my little corner of the universe. And though I wasn't happy, I was definitely in a routine and a structure that was familiar. And over the last 2 years, um, things have shifted and continued shifting and continued shifting. And now, I'm living alone. I have my youngest daughter part-time, and I live in a condo and not a house, and I'm not doing hair. I'm doing healing work full time. And so much has changed in my orbit and in what I would consider a pretty short amount of time, right? And it's like as soon as I adapt to the one change, like something else happens. And um it has been uncomfortable. I would say there have been times where it's been really uncomfortable. And um it's an inside job, right? Like there's no amount of external stimulation or external distraction. There's those things aren't going to I hate to say they're not going to help me, but like they're not ultimately what it's about. What it's about is what's happening within me and how I process that and then how I move forward. So this season has been really uncomfortable for me. And I say that because I am sure that we have listeners who want to make changes and they don't know where to start, and they're terrified because it's the unknown, right? And I just want to be very open in saying to that listener, I feel you. I feel you. And I want to say that because I feel like sometimes when we're talking about things, we will like simplify it for the listener. And there's that person who's on the other side listening to this that's like, that is huge. Like that is going to be so hard, or I don't know how to do that, or I don't know where to begin, or, and I know what that feels like. I mean, I remember, and I recounted this to a friend last night. I remember leaving my marriage and couch surfing on friends' couches for multiple nights, waking up, gasping for air, not sure how I was going to get through. right? And knowing that I was meant to help people and knowing that I was meant for more, but not knowing how God was going to make it happen. And I remember that feeling. And so, for the listener who's in that space right now, where you're transitioning and you're trying to figure out how to transform, I want you to know that I see you. I want you to know that I've been you. And I want you to know that it is one of the most isolating times that you can go through, but you're not alone. It might feel like you're alone because it's an inside process, but you're not alone. And there are a lot of people who have come before us who have gone through the same sort of thing. And I really feel like there's two kinds of people. There's the kind of people that say, I'm going through this transition and I'm going to embrace it for all it is. And I'm going to trust fall into this and allow it to transform my life. And then there are those who say, I'm too scared. I'm going to stay in the same pattern of behavior that I've been in my whole life. And I really don't know if there's any in between, Nims, because when you commit to transforming and when you know that you want to make that shift, it's almost like nothing will stop you. It's like you say to the universe, I'm open. Let's do this. And things keep coming into your life to show you to keep going, right? And then there are those people who are too afraid to move forward at all.
Yeah, I would say there are people that could be both at different times. So you could be in a phase where it's too scary. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to keep the status quo. I'm going to keep, and you know, Stacey, you did that for a while, right? You were in a marriage that, but something happens. There's something that breaks in you where enough is enough, and that's when you take the leap of faith. And it is scary. I remember your situation where you knew that your marriage was over, but you had no idea where you were going to go. But you knew that you couldn't stay in that space, and that's why if you as a listener feel like that, you've always been scared of change, it doesn't mean that you always need to stay there. You still have a choice. But we've said transformation is scary. So it should come with a health warning, right? Because you're safe in whatever environment you are right now. Maybe you're safe, maybe you're playing it easy, but are you happy? And there's always stages, right? And it's like the first thing that you always need to do is have an honest conversation with yourself. How do you really feel? Because sometimes we gloss over things, we see things with rose tinted glasses because we don't want to feel the pain of our situation. So the first thing I'll always recommend is look in the mirror, or maybe go to a trusted friend, whatever you feel. But I always will recommend looking in the mirror and having an honest and true conversation with yourself. That can be really painful, but it can also be liberating when you're truly honest with yourself about your current situation and really go deep on, what are the elements of your life that you actually enjoy and what are the elements that need to change? Because then that gives you the awareness, and without awareness, you can't do anything. And from that awareness, the next stage is always acceptance. Because if you've been in a situation for years and you haven't done anything about it, that is what it is. The only thing you control is this moment. So accept where you are right now, love yourself, and then decide what you're going to do differently. And it is a leap. It is a risk. There's no right or wrong. There's, I went through some stages. Those stages will help being open to embracing change, making sure you have a self-care routine, being clear on kind of what you want to manifest, but being open to magic. All of those stages are important. But if you're not honest with yourself and really kind of embrace where you want to go, then the rest isn't important, because unless you truly make that decision that you want to be different, you're ready to live your purpose. Because when you do that, the universe will meet you halfway. But again, transformation is bumpy, and being open to it. And we've kind of talked about the challenges, I guess. There is a beauty to it too, right? There is a beauty when you make a decision, and even not knowing what's going to happen, it can be very liberating, because all of a sudden there's a freedom in you that allows you to be different. There's a freedom in you that allows you to truly embrace who you are and move on to the next phase of your life. And I do really believe our life goes in phases. People say 7 years, 12 years, depends what you believe. But our life does go through phases, and we do go through multiple transformations, multiple rebirths. Think about yourself 10 years ago and compare yourself to who you are now. I'm sure you'd agree that you're very different. And the other thing that we haven't talked about is to celebrate your success. Because again, how often do we focus on the amount of change that's happening around us, and we always focus on the next part of change instead of actually celebrating who we are and the change that we've already made. So make sure you take time to celebrate your success too. And Stacey, I asked you a question: are you ready for transformation? Are you ready? I feel there's a lot of change coming for me personally. I'm excited by it. I feel like I'm ready for it. I'm open to it. Maybe me saying this out loud, I'm also saying to the universe, right? I'm ready. And that's a big part. Kind of being honest with yourself and saying you're ready for whatever's coming next. With an element of on the unknown. And I think that's okay. Are you ready for what's coming, Stace?
So I would say I'm ready, as ready as I'm going to be for whatever that transformation is, whatever that shift is. Um, for me, I kind of get reflective when I'm listening to you, and I'm like imagining, where I was a year ago, and then, imagining where I was like 3 years ago, and just kind of how I've been led on this path. And that, if somebody had told me that I would be in a space where I have my own place and doing my own thing, I don't know if I would have believed it. And here I am, in my own space and creating my own routine. And I feel like every day right now I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and embracing this new season. Friends, like, for those who don't know, because you might not know here, um, I deal with wicked stage fright. Like, I think people think because I use my voice for a living that it's something that comes easy to me, but it's actually not. I'm pretty like day to day introverted, and one of the changes that I wanted to make recently was I do my workouts at home, right? So I will go to the park, or I will run in the neighborhood, or on a bad weather day or a day where I have my daughter, I'll get on the treadmill, and I'm pretty isolated, right? And I've been feeling like I needed to step out of that, but I've been really like stressed about it. And so I had been thinking about joining the gym for a while, right? And I had talked to you about it, Nim. So I was like, I would love to join the gym, but like I'm so timid, like I just don't know, like just being in like a public space working out. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. And finally, I landed back from a trip in the UK recently, and I was talking to one of my good friends about it, and she was like, let's just go. Let's just go and check it out. And I went to the gym and had like a really positive experience. And I felt like, okay, like now I'm going to do something out of my comfort zone. to transform me. And what was interesting was we're not just talking about the physical transformation, right? I had to step out of my comfort zone and go into like a public space that was unfamiliar to me to try something new. And I also became aware in the first workout with the personal trainer that I'm not in as good a shape as I thought I was. Like I realized like I'd been limiting myself because I was doing things the same way over and over again, right? And when we do things the same way over and over again, how can we expect different results, right? So, like, I was walking funny and I was sore for a couple of days afterwards, but it really opened me up to not only being in a different environment, but to challenging my physical self to something new. And there's a feeling that this is another stage of that transformation for me, right? And I share this because I think sometimes, and I said this earlier, I think sometimes like we make things sound easy and we don't mean to. We don't mean to. Like Nims and I do not mean to make it sound easy because we know it's not easy. But I'm just saying, I think sometimes we make it sound easy. And I want you to hear us say, like, we know it's not easy. And it could be something that seems super minor to someone else in the stages of transformation and opening up to doing different things, but it might not be easy for you. Like I said, like I all like for most of my life, I identified, or I think people would identify me as an extrovert, right? That like things come easy to me and that I can talk about anything and I can do anything and I can be in new environments. But that's not actually how I am. I am pretty introverted. I like my alone time. I like my bubble that I've created. And yet I've become aware that not only do I need the physical movement to be different in the gym, but I also need to expose myself to potential social situations, right? Where I can meet friends and I can, maybe work out alongside someone. And those things don't happen if I stay in my little bubble. So I feel like it's so funny, but I feel like this episode is for me in the sense of like I am I am transforming right now as we speak. And I'm feeling the good moments of it where I'm celebrating the expansion and the growth. And then I have the shit moments where I'm like, this just sucks. I don't know how I can do this. And I want our listener to hear, I think it can be both. I think it can be both a
Okay.
beautiful and painful experience at the same time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier is that, you know, what you see with some people is the highlight reel, right? And yeah, Stacey's right. We don't mean to make things sound simple. Really our objective is to guide people. But yeah, transformation is difficult because you are changing it a lot, every part of you, right? I mean, it's like think about Stacey leaving a marriage or think about changing career. It's unstable. It is, but what we talked about earlier is being uncomfortable is a big part of it. That uncomfortable feeling and doing it anyway is a large part of our growth. And, think about something that you, again, to the listener, that you used to, I don't know, be nervous about. Maybe it's swimming, driving, whatever it is. Because I think about, me when I first got the message that, my voice is my gift, I need to use it. I need to start a podcast. And I procrastinated, I'm doing what I guess a lot of us do in wanting to be perfect. Oh my God, do I have the right equipment? Do I have the right mic? Do I have the right this? Do I have the right that? And I remember a friend to me at the time just saying, just start and then go with it. And I was like, all right. And actually, once I started, I found it much easier than I thought. And then I got the message, I need to be seen, is what I said. I'm like, really? Come on, I'm showing up in my podcast. Surely that's enough. And I kept getting the message, I need to be seen. So then started going live on Instagram once a week. And, sure, at the beginning I was nervous, but once you start, it does get easier. So I encourage all the listeners, what are you uncomfortable doing? What could you start today that you've been putting off and you've been making excuses for? And go back to a time when you were putting off something you wanted to do and you did it anyway. How did it make you feel? I really love to, for our listeners, is for you to experience picking something and doing it anyway, and really feeling how liberating it is. Stacey just went through, going to the gym, and yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Stacey, we've probably been talking about it for a year, right? In terms of kind of just getting out there, and it's a great way to meet people and connect with people, and it's also a case of being ready, right? And being comfortable with it. So go and transform, go and embrace, and love the new you. And it can be challenging, right? Anyway, for anyone that says to you they're fully healed or they're fully transformed, I don't know. I'd be a little doubtful, because I think we're always transforming, we're always growing. This journey, this human existence, isn't a one-time thing. It's not like we're going to get somewhere and think, oh my God, we've arrived at everything we've ever dreamed of. We're always going to want to manifest something else. There's always something new to learn. There's always some new way of expanding. So it's never about getting somewhere. How often do we say to ourselves, you know what, once I get that new house, or once I'm married, or once I have kids, or once I've started this business, or whatever, then I will enjoy it. We don't have any control of what the future. We can only control this moment. So why can't we celebrate the success today and stop waiting for things? So, Stace, how much do you celebrate going to the gym?
When I got done my first personal training session, I was pretty pumped. I was like, I did it, I overcame. And I think it's something that we need to talk more about, like celebrate. Celebrate when you take those steps that to someone else might seem small. Celebrate them. Like you did it. You went to the gym, or you did it. You followed that new eating routine, that you're eliminating sugar, or you're eliminating alcohol, or you've faced another day being sober, like whatever it is, like for everybody it's different, right? But celebrate those moments. I'm sitting here right now dressed and ready to go to the gym. It's rainy out. It's not exactly like a sunshiny day. And it would be very easy for me to say, you know what? I don't have my daughter today. I'm going to take a nap, right? Like I'm going to take a nap and I'm just going to enjoy the space. But I know that if I go to the gym, I'm going to come home feeling like I've accomplished something, right? And I will say, sometimes I have to play little games with myself to get myself to do things. So I just want to say this to anybody, and like, but like, so Nimesh and I, we have a space on Clubhouse, and on Thursday nights, which is tonight, we do a room where I do readings for people. And every Thursday, I swear to you, it's intense. Okay. As we lead up to this. So part of what I am doing to trick myself into going to the gym is knowing that there is a Starbucks right next door to the gym, and I will get an afternoon Starbucks because I went to the gym, right? So I just want to say, as Nims is sitting here sipping on his Starbucks, that sometimes we have to do things to kind of reward ourselves as well, right? For accomplishing those things, like you talked about, like celebrating yourself. I think it's super important. Like, I'm feeling angsty about, like, okay, I'm going back to the gym. I've got to do a workout. Like, I'm feeling all those feelings, but like, there's part of me that's like, okay, Stacey, what do you do to motivate yourself to want to go? Right. I'm not really in a space where I'm excited about going today, but I know I'll celebrate myself for going. Right. And so a small way I can do that is saying, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. And when I leave the gym, I'm going to get myself a Starbucks. And I'm mentioning this because sometimes we have to play games with ourselves to like find the motivation, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. I was playing games, but it's that because if I just think about what you just done, sometimes we focus on doing the things that we don't want to do. When actually what you just done is you focused on what you're going to do afterwards, how you're
Yes.
going to feel afterwards, what
Yes.
you're going to do to celebrate afterwards. It's that, and afterwards we feel great.
Yep.
But how often do we focus on, oh my God, going to the gym? Do I really want to do that? I'm going to be in so much pain afterwards. That's not a good self-talk. Whereas actually if you think, oh my God, how do I feel after going to the gym? I'm so proud of myself. I
Mhm.
feel really good. You know what? I'm going to get a Starbucks because I rock. You know what I mean? I'm that you know. And that's another clue is making sure you celebrate your success, but also consider how you're going to feel when you get through. How are you going to celebrate when you achieve that? I really want our listeners to focus on the moment, but don't forget to celebrate. And the other thing what I think about this conversation is comparison. How often do we compare ourselves to others? Oh, look, so easy for that person. So, you know, Jason, I think about you and kind of speaking in public, and there's always that level of anxiety you have. And we talk about it on Thursdays with your room, and there's that level of anxiety. I mean, honestly, for me, I'm more comfortable being speaking because I feel like I've overcome it. But there's all things that I know I should be pushing myself in certain areas that, like on the physical side, I'm working on it, but I know I've got to do more. And Stacey, being the friend that she is, she has a very subtle way of reminding me, which is great, which is beautiful, right? So, it is really being honest with yourself. So Stacey, as we start to close this episode, I'd love to kind of go through the stages again and kind of, I haven't got a list. This is just kind of what comes to top of my head. So please add anything I missed. But for me is starting with an honest conversation with yourself to allow yourself to become aware and kind of, then accepting who you are, accepting where you're at, and, knowing that you're starting from now and what you do from now is up to you. Then from the honest conversation, really think about what do you want to do? Be comfortable with the change that's coming. Start to manifest, but be open to whatever you're trying to manifest. And know and prepare yourself. There are going to be ups and downs. Whoever tells you the transformation is liberating, it is. But it's a painful process you go through before you go to that liberation. So being honest with yourself about the change that's coming. It's like if again, Stacey's your example. If you're in a marriage that is over, but you know that you're going to cause so much unrest by ending things, think about what is it going to lead you to. And as you're in this planning phase, really think about: are you doing what you meant to do? Are you servicing? Are you being of service in the way that you want to be of service? And challenge yourself because think about what signals are you getting, what messages are you getting, what can you do today that you've been putting off and do it anyway? What does your support system look like? Are you working with a mentor? Do you have the insights? Do you have a group of people around you that truly support you? And know that you're on a unique journey. And sure, other people aren't going to be going through the same journey as you. And that's okay. And I guess the other thing we haven't mentioned is know that you are supported, right? Feel and take time to feel that your guides, the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, is around you and is holding your space if you're open to it.
Well,
What
let
did I
me add,
mistake?
I was just going to say, let me add, like, if you're in a season of unknown, right, and you're trying to do something you've never done before, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Bring someone in to show you what to do, just like me with the gym, right? I walked into the gym and it had been a long time since I had been in the gym and I didn't know how to use the equipment. Like, I just think there's something to be said for bringing someone alongside you who can help you with the process. And I feel like it's something that we downplay Like we all try to like figure it out on our own. Like, oh, I'll figure it out. Somehow I'll figure it out. But the thing is, sometimes there's people there to assist you in the process, and you need to lean into that. Okay. Lean into the support that you have from family, from friends. Lean into the support that you have from somebody, a mentor, a coach, someone who can come alongside you and say, okay, this is how we're going to work this. This is how we're going to do this. And be like a guide, like a place that you can go to say, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I think about when I was going through all the struggles with my son, I got a therapist right away, got a therapist because I was like, there has to be a place for me to put all of this. And so I really want to encourage the vulnerability to say, I can't do this on my own. I need help, because there's so much power in admitting that we don't know how to do something, but that we have the desire to shift it. Okay. Because really what you need is the desire, right? If you have the desire to shift something in your life and transform, then you can take the action, right? But if you don't know what to do, don't beat yourself up that you don't know what to do. I mean, how many times, Nims, did we have the conversation about me going to the gym? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm nervous. It's a new environment. I don't know what I'm doing. And then finally, I was like, okay, I walk into the gym and they tell me I have access to a personal trainer. And I was like, I do? They were like, yeah, included in the membership, you have access to this personal trainer. You can sign up for classes with him, and here's what you do. And it was like, oh, okay. So now I've only had one session with the personal trainer, but I know that I can go into the gym today and do a circuit because he showed me what to do. So I know that I can go in and I can get in a 30-minute to an hour workout based off of what I've learned from just one session. And imagine what will happen after multiple sessions. I'll be able to go into the gym and use various pieces of equipment, weights, whatever, and do different exercises and work different parts of my body because I now have someone supporting me. And so I just want to say to people, like, I don't believe that we're meant to do it alone. Okay. I don't believe that. I believe that it is an inside job as far as like the shift in you and the transformation and how you handle it. But I don't believe that we're meant to do it alone. I believe that's why, just like with the gym being so symbolic, there's personal trainers that we have access to guide those of us who don't know what we're doing. Right. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're in a space where you don't know, it's okay that you don't know, but find someone who can help you along the way.
I love that. Love that. And the other thing didn't mention earlier is, when you're looking for that team of people to work with, how often do we look at kind of references and kind of testimonials, etc., and look at all of that, but then have people around you that resonate with you at a heart level? I'll always say anyone that chooses to work with us, it's like a soul contract. We're meant to, so make the decision from your heart. If something resonates with you at a heart level, then whoever you're thinking of is probably the right person. So Stacey, as we end this episode, I will always ask you for some journal prompts. What are your suggested journal prompts for this episode?
So the first one would be, do you want to transform? And what areas of your life do you want to see change? Right? Like just sit and journal. Like, are you really open to transformation? And what areas of your life would you like to see transform? And what do you need to do to make that happen?
Love it. Love it. And yeah, just a reminder, if our voice, if what we share resonates with you, then consider working with us. I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we have a promotion for the first 3 people that sign up for mentorship in September. We're going to give you 4 months for the price of 3. We love what we do. So reach out, schedule a free discovery call. The other thing we have coming up is on September the 13th. So a week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK. 2 p.m. PST, we have a free Zoom call. We do this once a month where we invite people to join us on Zoom, and we do a 90-minute healing session where we open the group of Akashic records and we share whatever knowledge we have. This is a great way to really experience the healing work that me and Stacey do. It's a way that we give back. I'll include the link in the show notes. We'd love for you to join us on Zoom. So, if you're ready for mentorship, reach out. If you want to experience what we do, then sure, join the Zoom call. We also do Akashic record readings, carrying on promo. Akashic records are a record of everything your soul's been through, and you gain insight into who you really are. So we have lots of things going on. We love what we do. We love working people. It really does lift our souls. So if any of what I've said is of interest, please reach out. If you have any questions, then DM either me or Stace. You have both of our social media information on the show notes. I love this space. I love sharing this space. I love kind of sharing whatever comes through. Stace, I love sharing this space with you. Sending lots and lots of love and light out to everyone that's listening. Stacey, I'm going to hand over to you to close us out.
Friends, we love getting emails from you, so please feel free to email us and let us know what you think about this podcast. We also love it when you rate and review this podcast. Let people know that we're here. We're so grateful for each one of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.